So you guys, as you can tell from the title of today's video, we're going to be making a tassel keychain. This is really important because, as you guys can see, I have had this for a long time. It is beat up. It has been through the wire. I got this as a graduation gift, I believe as a track present when I was going away to college. It served its purpose, but I think that this is a really useful thing because my keys get lost really easily and I just need something big so that they're easily identifiable and I can find them quickly. So I went ahead and took off that wallet, and this is everything that's left behind, and I'm just going to need those big circular rings that my keys are dangling off of. That's something that we're going to need for a little bit later on in the craft, but you're only going to need one. But if you want to make multiple tassels, then you're just going to need one per tassel. You're also going to need some type of straight edge. I chose to use both of these. You guys can use whatever you want. Those are the rings that I was talking about. They can be any size as long as they are the circular rings that you use for your keychain. I have these paper clips here, and you guys will see why you need the paper clips. And then I have crazy glue as well as liquid stitch, which is fabric glue. I prefer the liquid stitch. You're gonna need some kind of writing device. I also have my rotary cutter and scissors. I prefer scissors because I'm still getting used to rotary cutters. And then I have these two fabrics. I got them at Joann's Fabric from the remnant fabric section. And these are both vinyl type of fabrics or leather dupes. I prefer the remnant fabrics just because they're really cheap. And if you're somebody like me who likes to experiment and craft a lot and you don't want to spend a ton of money for a yard of fabric, then you can get maybe 3/4 of a yard for a lot cheaper. So as you guys can see here, I'm taking my yardstick and then I'm taking that straight edge and I'm just marking at about, I think 12 or 13 inches. And I'm just going to use my pen and lightly mark that. And then I'm going to follow up with my rotary cutter. I'm just going to cut straight across. And the rest of the fabric, I'm just going to set it aside until I need it for another project. It turned out to be a lot of fabric, so I'm going to have to figure out something to do with the rest of that. And as you guys can see, my rotary cutter didn't cut all the way through. I was trying to be careful, so I just went back through with my scissors and cut off the extra pieces where it was still connected. Now, earlier where I used that pen to mark, I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut a little bit, and then I'm using my straight edge and I'm going to line it up and take my rotary cutter and then just cut straight across from where I made that initial pen marking. And of course, as you guys can see, it's still connected, so I'm going back in with my scissors and I'm just going to cut that and separate the two pieces. So now that this is done, I'm going to measure out the total length, and then I'm going to find the halfway point of that length. And I believe it was like 4.5 inches. And then I'm going to take my straight edge again, line it up, and cut that piece of fabric in half. And one thing I've noticed with the rotary cutter, you can't cut too fast because it kind of wobbles and then it makes it uneven. And that's the quickest way to ruin a project. So I'm trying to be really, really cautious. So that's why I'm doing things really, really slowly and just doing them in very small sections because I want it to be very, very even. And again, I'm taking my scissors and cutting the two pieces in half. So right now I'm only going to need one piece, and I am taking the other piece and I'm just eyeballing that. I think that was 1.5 inches, and I just cut off a 1.5 inch strip and kind of eyeballed the rest and cut off a little piece. This is the actual piece that's going to be hanging from that circle. I don't even know what to call this, but I'm going to cut out that piece of fabric, and then I'm going to proceed to cut that piece that I just cut in half. If that makes any sense to you guys. So taking my rotary cutter, went ahead, cut that in half, and then I am going to go ahead and put that circular keychain clip, and I'm using my crazy glue. I'm just going to hold that together for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'm going to follow up with my clip. I'm going to clip that in place so that it's staying secured while it's drying, just because I don't want to sit here and hold it, and I'm going to set that to the side and let that dry. So taking my rotary cutter, I measured, kind of eyeballed about where I wanted to start cutting the flaps, and I just used a straight edge as a guide and used my rotary cutter to cut the individual flaps. And I did it so far down from the bottom so you can measure it, like I'm going to cut up into about 1 inch. So that's what I did, and I just cut these flaps over and over again. I didn't have an exact spacing of how far apart I wanted them. So once I'm done, I flipped over the fabric, and then I'm taking that keychain clip piece that we did initially, I went ahead and I glued that down with fabric glue. Then I'm taking the fabric glue and I'm making a long line straight across. I did this both ways, with crazy glue and with fabric glue. However, as you guys can see, I preferred the fabric glue way. It is a lot more secure. It doesn't shift around. The only con is it takes about 30 minutes, and this wasn't shown on screen. I took a hair tie and I just wrapped it around to keep it in place while it was drying and set it aside, and after 30 minutes it was solid. So I'm just taking this and I'm rolling it up like a burrito, and you guys can see that's what it looks like after the 30 minutes are done and it's dry, it's secure in place, it's not moving anywhere. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. So this is a good little craft if you just want something quick, easy to find your keys with. It's really cheap. This whole thing, all of the supplies for this, I think it was under $5. Or under $10, we'll say. But yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. Definitely prefer the fabric glue over the crazy glue. You guys can see how tight and neatly constructed that is. But if you guys enjoyed this, definitely give this a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more crafts, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
My dear, I want you here. Don't get too near, for there's lions beware. Oh, Bambi, I won't lie.